Today on the Ranting Weight Watcher. What happens when you get too busy? Does your journey take a hit? Yeah, Friday. You have reached episode 12 of the Ranting Weight Watcher. I am your host, Donato Russo. I think I got a good show planned for you today. Damn, I like this music. If this is your first time here, please like, share, comment, subscribe. If the podcast app that you're listening to me on allows you to rate the show, please give a 4-star, 5-star rating. I appreciate any rating you can give me. If you'd like to email your appreciation or just give me a little brief, say hello and give me a little brief story, you can send an email to the rantingweightwatcher@gmail.com. I hope you enjoy the show. Tell your friends about me. We are going to get into it now. Journey updates. Had a pretty good week this week. On my way in, I dropped 2.6 pounds for the week. This is almost a complete loss of the gain I had last week. My total weight loss so far since the beginning of my journey is 105.8 down. My distance to my goal of getting to down 110 is 4.2 pounds. Another small goal of mine to get to 277 pounds, which is the weight I was when I first started dating my wife. It's also the lowest weight I achieved from the gastric bypass surgery. So I'm trying to get down to 277, and that's just a current goal. But I'm 12.8 pounds away from that goal. And my distance to the next WW Charm milestone goal, which is the down 125 charm, that I am 19.2 pounds away from. So, there was a setback last week, but, they happen. And I was hoping to get it all off this week, but you can't get everything what you want, I guess, right? As long as it's going in the right direction, that's all I care about. I didn't really make any adjustments this week. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't make changes unless there's a trend. One mysterious gain, I don't make changes for. But if there's 2 weeks in a row of gains, then I start analyzing and thinking of what change to make. And so last week was a gain, but this week's a loss. So we changed nothing and we remain consistent doing what we know. And we end up here. And that's just how I approach things. You don't have to approach those things. You can change something whenever you want. But I think that what got me here is my concentration on becoming consistent in my life, right? So the first thing I became consistent on was making good choices, right? Because in the beginning of my journey, I dropped my first 50 pounds without any exercise. And so the wholehearted concentration was to go after the food choices I was making. And even if they were not great food choices, the concentration on what would be an acceptable portion size for me with my food points budget and everything like that. And that's how I approached it. And my second level of concentration, once I hit the 50-pound mark, I knew that I wasn't going to get the next 50 by still not continuing without exercise. So my second 50 pursued introducing exercise into my journey. And I reached down 100 with various different levels of exercise. There was a period of time where I had a trainer 2 days a week. But it all started very small, making commitments, walking 3 days a week, 20 minutes. There was no distance. There was no time. The time was the initial concentration when I first started walking. I'm walking for 20 minutes around in a circle, then I'll come home. You know what I mean? I actually, when I first started walking, I don't know if I said this before, but I was in my own parking lot. And I just kept walking for 20 minutes. And when 20 minutes was up, I went back in the house. And that was all there was to it. And I made that commitment. I said I was going to make that commitment for 4 weeks. And then at the end of that 4 weeks, I made my first change. I went from 20 to 30 minutes. And then I did that for another 4 weeks. And so on and so forth. Now I'm averaging somewhere between 1 hour and 1.5 hours. It kind of varies. I don't get crazy with sticking to a certain amount of time. If I feel knee pain relatively early, I always have general knee pain, but if it gets severe, I make it to the 1 hour mark and I come home. If it is not severe and I feel like I could push myself, I'll push myself for the hour and a half. And that's how I approached introducing exercise. And then when I found out, I felt like I was adding more days, and I got to 4 days, and then I got to 5 days, and then I got to 6 days of exercise. And then I said to myself, all right, I'm definitely going to keep one rest day. So I wanted to change it up. And that's when I found my trainer, and I had my 2 days a week with him, and the other 4 were walking, continuing my walking. And I did that for a period of time. And, then due to, financial tightening, I'll say it like that, I decided to forego personal trainer. Just couldn't make a good argument for continuing it based on a fiscal level. Now I'm back to, I was back to 6 days of walking at that point. And quickly realized that, it was time to get back into class because I had passed the previous exam because I'm becoming A+ certified IT professional. And now I'm going after Network Plus certification. So now I'm back to class 2 nights a week, which basically instantly gave me 2 extra rest days because the walk, unless I wake up at 4 in the morning, which I don't see myself doing, at least for the time being, it's a long day waking up at 4 in the morning. Right now I wake up at 5 in the morning. So in order to get exercise before the day starts, I'd have to wake up at least 4 in the morning. And even then, I'd have to go to sleep dressed. You're talking about waking up 4 in the morning, shoes on, and out the door. And everything would have to already be on in order to really accomplish all of this. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but I have to be in a certain mindset to wake up at 4 in the morning. And someone would say, well, you wake up at 5, what's another hour? And you're right. You're right. But there's still a mindset. When the alarm clock goes off at 4 in the morning, there's still a mindset. There is There is a battle that goes on in the brain that you have to win every day. Every time you attempt it, you have to win it every day. And that voice that makes you want to stay in bed as comfortable as you are at 4 a.m, that voice is probably my strongest demon, is trying to wake myself up from a sleep. Because it's gotten pretty easy. Since I hit the 100-pound mark, it's gotten pretty easy to say no to foods that previously was hard for me to say no to. So the food in the beginning was a lot harder to say no to now than stuff like getting up early and going for a walk at 4 a.m. On to today's topic. So what happens to your journey when circumstance makes you extremely busy? Just life events happen, and all of a sudden you're crazy busy and you're still concerned about getting your work in, getting the workouts or whatever it is. Your time to meal prep, your time to work out, your time to sleep, meditate, whatever it is that keeps you going on your journey. When all of a sudden a life circumstance hits, how do you handle it? I'm going to go over that. We're going to take a break, so stick with me. Hi everyone, I'm Donato Russo, and I am the Ranting Weight Watcher. I would love it if we can connect on social media. If you're on Facebook and Instagram, look me up at the Ranting Weight Watcher. If you're on Twitter, at the Ranting WW. If you're already on Weight Watchers and you want to connect in the Connect app, search for at Ranting Weight Watcher. If you'd like to email the show, share your successes, share your failures, share your story in general, send me an email at therantingweightwatcher@gmail.com. Most of all, if you're enjoying the show, please like it, share it, comment, and subscribe. Now, back to the show. And we are back. Thanks for sticking with me. So, what happens to your journey when life gets a little busy? The last, week and a half, 2 weeks, things have gotten real busy for me. Part of it is I returned to school. So I had gotten my A+ certification. I decided to join classes for Network Plus certification as soon as the next course started. The mental battle that was going through my head is, why not wait until the first time the Network Plus course starts after the new year? This way you enjoy the holidays with family and kind of enjoy the success of the first certification a little bit. But I said, you know what? Better to keep it going. Stay on the wave. Ride with the, go with the momentum. And on November 2nd, I jumped into the Network Plus course. And instantly, it felt like I lost all time. In reality, I lost 8 hours, right? Because it's 2 days a week from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., Monday, Wednesday. That's the class. I'm sure, there's a lot of studying that goes with it. Don't get me wrong. But that's what I gave up, right? And shortly after that, I decided to do some work in my attic to gain more storage area space. And it was a project that I didn't really have the tools to finish. I thought it was going to be easy, just buy some plywood, have it cut at the store, and then bring it here and screw it into the rafters, right? But it proved a lot more difficult than that. But the project's done. I gained the space. And then, as you know, I started my decorating for Christmas. So now I'm starting to feel overwhelmed at this point. You know, I feel like there's too many loose ends, things that I have to do. You know, it's like being a juggler and there's too many balls in the air and you don't know which one's coming down first so you can catch it and throw it back up. That's what I start to feel like. Whenever I feel like that, it's like I become overwhelmed, unsure where to start, kind of a thing. And in reality, what I should do is take a breath and start really organizing my time to get it all done, right? Because all of that, plus making sure I record these episodes and then editing them, you know, just to give you an idea, one episode, when you do recording time, editing time, choosing the music that goes along with each episode, it could take probably between 4 and 6 hours time total, beginning to end. That's not all in one day. That's spread out. You know, one day I choose the music, another day I do the recording, another day I do the editing and piece it all together. So you could say anywhere from 4 to 6 hours time, and the 4 to 6 hours, the 8 hours I lost going back to school, all of a sudden looked a lot more valuable, and I started regretting not waiting until after the new year. But it is what it is now. I've joined the class, and it's all I can do. Stick with it and keep going forward. The one thing I regret, how I handled it, like I came to last Sunday, and I was feeling overwhelmed already that day. And I said, you know what? The hurricane was supposed to be hitting, Hurricane Eta was supposed to be hitting that day. And I said, I'll skip walking. I'll skip exercise this day. Because I got a bunch of Christmas decorations to put up on the inside of the house. And the Christmas decorations always are tougher to put up than they are to take down. Because when you're taking stuff down, you don't care about, does the light set work before you put it up? Do you have to check the bulbs? Do you have to replace bulbs and all this stuff? You're just putting it back, tying it up and putting it in a box. So on Sunday, I spent the morning, I did my normal chores. Then I started decorating for Christmas. Got a good amount done. And then it was about waiting for stuff to come in the mail because I needed a couple of things for details in certain parts of the house. Now, when I'm done with the decorations, I will post on YouTube, and I'll let you guys know when it's there. It'll be on the Ranting Weight Watcher YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see it. And hope you guys like it. But I was very disappointed in myself because before that, I had made, for the last year and a half, or almost 2 years now at this point, I had made my health such a priority that everything else took a back seat. And now, here I am 2 years later, just about 106 pounds down, and I'm giving up exercise to get things done. And I didn't like that one bit. It was not so much that I took the rest day, because I've taken rest days before. It was the reason I took the rest day. If I take a rest day because I'm in pain and body's aching, stuff like that, I don't mind it. Because, sometimes the body just needs time to heal. And sometimes I do things and I go a little crazy and my knee doesn't like me very much the next day. My ankle doesn't like me very much the next day. And sometimes back and hip, not all at the same time, but certain days, certain things. And I've powered through many times where I've had the pain and I've powered through it. And then here I am, I get a little overwhelmed with stuff taking up my time, which is basically stuff I volunteered to do. Was it required of me to join the class before the holiday when I could have easily waited until the next one after the new year? Is it required for me to go as crazy with Christmas decorations as I do in my home? No, it's not required either. These are all voluntary things I choose to do. And then when I got overwhelmed, I used the excuse of a possible hurricane approaching to give up exercise in order to get some of the things done. Not like I finished everything. I only got some of them done. But I can't keep harping on about that. I don't feel guilty. I don't feel angry with myself. Just disappointed on how I handled this one situation. And definitely when presented with the next situation, I won't be so lenient or so easy to give up my exercise in order to get these things done. That's for sure. Because when you're making the choice at the time, it never seems like a big deal. But it's after the fact, when you're done feeling overwhelmed, then all of a sudden you feel like you took the easy way out. You let an excuse get to you. You let something get to you. Where it wasn't that big a deal. In reality, you had time to process your situation, and it doesn't feel as dire as it did beforehand. But it doesn't really matter what you did, how you handled it. I mean, it's all in the past. You can't fix it anyway, right? You can't go back. You can't take it back. What's done is done. Now you just live with it. And I'm talking very dramatically about it in reality because it wasn't that detrimental of a decision. But in my mind, I feel like I took the weak man's way out instead of putting myself in a position of strength and trying to power through. And if I came up short, I came up short. But at least I came up short in the voluntary stuff that I chose to add to my time schedule rather than coming up short in my required stuff, which would be being healthy, becoming healthy, my journey. So definitely I will be making better choices in the future. How will you handle things when your life gets a little busy? Do you think you can stop a minute, prioritize things, and move forward? Or will you simply just give up the time that you would have spent on your journey and keep moving forward like I did? I feel like I missed an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to gain strength. But I won't make that mistake again. I have learned from this situation, and maybe you will too by listening to what I talked about today. We can't allow circumstance to make us make choices that take away from our health. Because you know what? If we don't take care of ourselves first, how will all those things get done anyway? All of those things I chose to do don't get done regardless if I'm not here to do them. And the same thing for you. Our health needs to come first. Our life needs to come first. You need to come first. We need to grow, and we need to accept that not everything can come before we can. We have to put the gas mask on our face, oxygen mask, whatever it is, before we can help other people, before we can do other things. We have to take care of ourselves. We've been giving up on ourselves way too long, and that has to end. If we're going to be serious about what we're doing, it has to end. You come first. I come first. We got to do this the right way and get healthy once and for all. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all.